The black boy ran to the mafia boss shouting, "They're hitting my mother." What the boss did next? The restaurant fell silent the moment the front door slammed open. Everyone turned. A small black boy, maybe 10, trembling, eyes wet and wide, stumbled inside, panting like he'd run for miles. His clothes were dusty, his hands shaking. He scanned the room until his eyes locked on Vincenzo Romano, the most feared mafia boss in the city. The man whose presence alone made grown men sit straighter, breathe quieter, and pray harder. Vincenzo lifted his glass slowly, confused by the boy's gaze. The boy gulped air and screamed, "Please. They're hitting my mom. Please help her." Glasses froze halfway to lips. Forks stopped midair. Even the jazz band choked on their notes. Vincenzo stood up instantly. Not because he was threatened, not because someone dared burst into his territory, but because of that one trembling word, Mom. He walked toward the boy, towering over him. "Who?" he asked, voice smooth but deadly. The boy sobbed. "The landlords, they came with sticks, she couldn't pay rent. I tried to stop them but," his voice cracked, the room tensed. But Vincenzo didn't ask another question. He took off his coat and draped it over the boy's shoulders. "Show me," he said. A convoy of black cars screeched into the narrow neighborhood street. Locals peeked from windows. Dogs hid. The air changed, heavy, electric, dangerous. Vincenzo stepped out first. The boy ran ahead into a small old apartment. The door was half broken. From inside came shouting, glass smashing, a woman crying out in pain. Vincenzo's jaw clenched. He didn't knock. He kicked the door in. 3 men froze mid-swing, one holding a stick, one gripping the mother's hair, another digging through drawers. The mother lay on the ground, shielding her face with bleeding arms. The boy ran to her. "Mom." Vincenzo spoke calmly. Deadly calmly. "Touch her again," he said, "and I will bury all 3 of you before the sun rises." The men stammered. "We didn't know she had, she doesn't need a man," Vincenzo snapped. "She needs respect." One tried to run. Vincenzo grabbed him by the shirt and slammed him against the wall. Another reached for his stick, but Vincenzo's men had already stepped in, guns drawn, expressions cold. In 5 seconds the landlords were on their knees, shaking. Vincenzo crouched beside the mother. "Can you stand?" She nodded weakly, tears in her eyes. "Your son came for help," Vincenzo said softly. "That makes him braver than most men I know." He looked at the landlords. "You're going to pay her damages. Triple her rent for the next year." And then, he leaned closer, voice dropping to a whisper that chilled their bones, "You're going to disappear from this street forever." They nodded violently, terrified. Vincenzo turned back to the boy. "What's your name?" "Jordan," the boy whispered. "Well, Jordan, from today, no one touches your mother. Ever. If anyone tries," he tapped the boy's chest lightly. "You call me." The woman cried harder, gripping her son. Vincenzo stood and signaled his men. "Fix this house. New door. New wiring. Groceries delivered every week. On my bill." "But why?" the mother asked, shaking. Vincenzo looked at her with a sadness no one expected from a man like him. "Because once," he said quietly, "I was the boy screaming for help, and nobody came." He placed his hand gently on Jordan's shoulder. "You won't grow up like I did." And with that, the most feared mafia boss in the city turned around, having just saved a family the world had forgotten. Because even the darkest men sometimes carry the brightest moments of humanity.